Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video, here to talk about some PlayStation on PC updates. Look, earlier this year, you guys may have heard me have an absolute meltdown over Spider-Man 2, and rightfully so. Whenever we see a port that is that bad, especially because it was coming from Nixes, who had done a lot of great work previously, but if you were following Spider-Man 2, the fact they weren't promoting it much should have been an immediate glaring red flag, and it should have immediately, kind of let us know that there might be trouble. And yes, it was absolutely atrocious at launch, but there's another new update that has just dropped. I want to highlight that and also some of the recent reception. I don't want to be like one of those people,
Oh, well, you know what? It's running well on my PC, so it's probably just your PC.
like, I don't want to be one of those guys, and I try to not be. For example, recently I've been playing a ton of Bleach Rebirth of Souls on PC. Holy hell, is that game awesome. It runs flawlessly for me. My experience with that game has been one of my best experiences across PC gaming this year in terms of that game just working right out the gate. Am I suddenly gonna be like, oh, all these people complaining about Bleach Rebirth of Souls, it's their PCs, it's running great for me? No, I'm not gonna be like that, because that is absolutely idiotic, but nonetheless, we'll talk about that. And also, little game called Last of Us Part 2 came out. Want to assess the Steam numbers, my experience with the game thus far. I mean, I played the game on PS4 and PS5 when those respective editions came out, but playing it again on PC, and only put a couple of hours in it so far. I'll talk a little bit about that. We'll go over some stats. I'll offer you guys some context on that, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Right off the bat, Spider-Man 2 Patch 7 release notes has dropped. A lot of bug fixes, a lot of issues adjusted. This update contains various bug fixes, optimizations, and stability improvements based on player feedback. We've fixed bugs related to ray-traced interiors, addressed a bug that caused shadows to flicker when HBAO Plus or XeGTAO was selected, and more. Check out the patch notes. I'm not going to go over all of the patch notes. It's the latest in a plethora of patch notes that has really reflected the user reception of Spider-Man 2. I had a lot of issues with Spider-Man 2 at launch. After the first couple of patches, I want to say within like a week of the game coming out, like a week after it coming out, flawless experience on my RTX 4070. I do need to do more testing. We just got a PC in with a 9070 XT that I'm going to be doing some testing on, and the performance on that was insane, but it's a 9070 XT. Like, that's to be expected. And I want to test out the RX 580 PC, the pre-built PC, the $400 PC that, that had some issues at launch running this game. I want to see if that does a little bit better, but so far, the general reception has also gotten much better. The recent reviews on PC, 1,400 reviews, 84% positive for a very positive reception. Mind you, this game was sitting at like the 50% range when the game initially came out because there were so many issues. I wish Nixes would be a little bit transparent as far as what went on with this game. First of all, there were no pre-orders for the game. We didn't get system requirements for the game until last second. Very different than your typical PlayStation release. Last of Us Part 1 was the only game that was as bad as Spider-Man 2. Horizon Zero Dawn had issues as well, but I don't think that was as bad as Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 and Last of Us Part 1, and Last of Us Part 1 was really a monstrosity in its own right. Like, I do rank the Last of Us Part 1 PC port the worst port of all time. I don't think Nixes was even involved in that. I think that was done by a different studio. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah, Spider-Man 2 probably second place for the worst PC ports. Like, it was an atrocity at launch, but they have fixed it up fairly quickly, and my experience with it since the updates have come out has been rather phenomenal. The game is intensive. If you set ray tracing to ultimate, if you set all the settings at the highest, it's going to be an intensive game, but, like, the issues at launch were literally making this game unplayable. Now, to be fair, there are still people reporting that there are issues, and I'm not going to take anything away from that. I'm not saying that this game is perfect. By all means, it is not. I wouldn't even put it at the level of Spider-Man 1, where when that game came out, Spider-Man 1 I thought was really well done, but people are still saying that they're having issues, and again, I'm not trying to be one of those people that are like, oh, it's working fine for me, and then they just disregard. I literally had a buddy of mine, more of a casual gamer, but he plays on PC, and he was just talking about how Assassin's Creed Shadows was working fine for him, and totally disregarded my frame gen issue, which was, well well promoted online. Like, it's well known online that FrameGen was breaking that game for a little while and just completely destroying PCs, in the sense that shutting down PCs. But like, yo, I have my literal close friends hitting me with the, it works fine on my PC though, it's gotta be you. Like, I get hit with that from my actual friends, and then when I see it in the comment section, like, I get it, some people are already poking fun that like, yo, I'm having a meltdown too much, but you see it so often, and at this point, I am led to believe that some people are just doing it to troll because it is a funny troll bit, but yeah, it's just, man, you know, some people are doing it and they're not trolling. They just want to defend whatever, like, Monster Hunter Wilds, that's a game that came out and had so many issues, and you know that there were people unironically running around saying it runs fine on my PC, and it's just like, bro, yeah, like, your PC is right. It's the thousands of people online that are having issues that are the problem. It's definitely just them and not widespread issues with the game. Nonetheless, Spider-Man 2 is seemingly doing better. However, they did retract this game's Steam Deck verified label, and it went to Steam Deck playable. I think it's a clown show sometimes when what games are verified on the Steam Deck. Some games literally run atrociously. I believe Dead Space Remake is one of them that runs atrociously on the deck. Horizon Zero Dawn, my experiences with that game on the deck has been pretty bad, but that game is deck verified as well. But yeah, sometimes I feel like it's a clown show. Spider-Man 2 is still listed as playable, but the game requires manual configuration of graphics settings to perform well on the Steam Deck, so take that for what you will, but that game is Steam Deck playable, but it is getting better. A brand new patch just dropped. Alright, moving on from that, I do want to cover Last of Us Part 2. I know this game is incredibly divisive. I did get to that scene, and your boy immediately paused the game, skipped cinematic, and then skipped another cinematic following up on that. I ain't trying to mess with that. You know, now I'm in the section of the game where it's just like, okay, at least we're past that scene. I can just play the game, at least for the most part, and take in the visuals, which are stunning. The PC experience on my end, on my RTX 4070, playing the game at 4K high settings, has been pretty good. Like, pretty damn good experience so far. It's not like I've been monitoring performance that closely. When it gets to, you know, my experience, as long as it's performing fairly damn well and it's, you know, not crashing or anything like that, we're good to go. For the most part, I'm not gonna be that picky, but when it talks about stuttering nonstop and crashing like I had with Spider-Man 2, like, that's where it becomes a real big issue. But my PC experience has been rather good. We're gonna do some testing on it. Played Last of Us Part 2 on the RX 580 PC. You'll see that in a video sometime soon. It might be up by the time this video's up. We'll see. But as far as the stats of this game go, which I was really curious to see how this game was going to do, because obviously the reception was so divisive, I don't know how people are going to assess this. It peaked at 30,690 concurrent players. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I tried to get some information on whether or not this game is available in all regions, and I've heard multiple things from different people. I believe the game is not available in all regions. So this is one of those games that it doesn't require PSN account linking, but it is still region restricted, which is a problem. Like, they gotta fix that. You're not requiring account linking. Why are you restricting your games? That is what I am led to believe thus far. Correct me if I'm wrong. For those of you in different regions, is Last of Us Part 2 available in your region? Or is it like Spider-Man 2? Is it like God of War Ragnarok, so on and so forth? Now, the 30,000 concurrent player count would put it above Marvel Spider-Man 2, Days Gone, and Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. It will also put it above Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection and Ratchet Rift Apart. Not really a fair comparison to Marvel Spider-Man 2, because that game was such an atrocious PC port that I would believe that Spider-Man 2 would do way better than Last of Us Part 2 if the game was as good as a PC version as Last of Us Part 2. Also, Last of Us Part 2 was $10 cheaper than Spider-Man 2. That accounts for something, I think, but yeah, 30,000 concurrent players. This would put it behind God of War Ragnarok, which also had the PSN account linking, and in fact, it would put it behind Last of Us Part 1, which peaked at 36,496 concurrent players. I feel like that's a pretty damning statistic, because Last of Us Part 1, in my opinion, with all of the atrocious PC ports that I've experienced, Batman Arkham Knight, Assassin's Creed Unity, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Last of Us Part 1 is among the worst, the absolute pile of dog crap PC ports that we've ever played, and that game peaked at 36,500 players, 6,500 above Last of Us Part 2. Like, Last of Us is a popular IP, don't get me wrong, but the fact that Part 1 being as atrocious as it was, now, to be fair, Part 1 didn't have the region restriction or anything like that, so that is something to assess, but even with that, Yeah, that's kind of funny because part 1, again, one of the worst PC ports of all time, but I would put part two's number as a fine number. What I am really curious about is Stellar Blade. I think Stellar Blade is going to be a fascinating case study. Hopefully, by the time Stellar Blade comes out, they figure out the region restrictions and have that game available in all regions. I think Stellar Blade has the potential to crack the best number that Sony has done outside of Helldivers 2, since obviously that was a day one game, kind of an anomaly, multiplayer live service game, but Ghost of Tsushima peaked at 77,000, where God of War 2018 was 73,000. I would say anything north of 50,000 would be a successful number for Stellar Blade. Anything above 65, obviously a great number, and then I do see there being potential, as long as it's a good PC version, for it to creep up into that 70,000 range, just because it's one of those games that I feel like will really click with the PC audience, and it's a new IP, so it's not like it's a Horizon Forbidden West or a God of War Ragnarok or a Last of Us Part 2 where it's a direct sequel, and that is always gonna lessen, I feel, how many people are gonna check it out, just because you need prior knowledge, but I could see Stellar Blade doing exceedingly well, and I think that's going to be a really good case study for how, what games really do click. As far as the PC market, I think the console market is a little bit different, and Last of Us is a game that resonates more so with consoles, but Stellar Blade did well on consoles as well, but yeah, I see Stellar Blade doing very, very well on PC. But wanted to cover the Last of Us numbers. I would say they're fine. I think some people obviously wanted the game to be an outright failure, and I wouldn't say it's that. Like, it's above Spider-Man 2, which was a big release. Even with Spider-Man 2 being an atrocity of a PC version, obviously Spider-Man 2 would be above Last of Us Part 2 if the PC version was good. But, I think 30,000 is a fine number. I don't think it's great. I think it's totally serviceable, and maybe that's disappointing that Last of Us is pulling only serviceable numbers. That is a little bit of a bummer, given that a lot of people would consider that being Sony's biggest IP, and yeah, that's not really reflective in the Steam stats, where Ghost of Tsushima is, 2xing the game comfortably, 2.5xing actually, but that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, let me know down there. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.